So I'm going to be explaining the difference between Microlocs and Sisterlocks. So there seems to be a lot of confusion in the lock community when it comes to tiny locks, and some people think that Microlocs and Sisterlocks are the same thing, but they are similar, but they are not the same thing. So this may help someone who is wanting to start their lock journey and they aren't sure what's the difference between Microlocs and Sisterlocks, and you may be wanting to start your lock journey but you don't know exactly what to research for or what you're looking for. So we're going to get right into it. So the first difference between Microlocs and Sisterlocks are, first, Microlocs are not trademarked. They are not a trademark. Sisterlocks, on the other hand, Sisterlocks are trademarked. They were founded in 1993 by Dr. Joanne Cornwell. So Sisterlocks are under a trademark and Microlocs are not under a trademark. So with that being said, Sisterlocks have to be installed a very specific way, and Microlocs, on the other hand, do not have to be started a very specific way. Since Sisterlocks are trademarked, there is a specific technique to install them. So first things first, when you are installing Sisterlocks, they have to be installed by a Sisterlock consultant. This is someone who has taken the official Sisterlock course. They have obtained the official license that they need to be considered as a Sisterlock consultant. So you can only be a Sisterlock consultant to install Sisterlocks. You have to first, I think you have to be a trainee, and then you can become a consultant. But Sisterlocks are only installed by a Sisterlock consultant with a license to do so. And Microlocs, on the other hand, Microlocs do not have to be installed by a Sisterlock consultant. Microlocs can be installed by a regular loctician. You can install them yourself, or a friend can do it, a cousin can do it. Anyone can install Microlocs, but only a Sisterlock consultant can install Sisterlocks. And this is again someone who has a license, who has taken the course to obtain a license to install Sisterlocks with the Sisterlock trademark technique to install them. Number 3 would be Sisterlocks are only installed with the interlocking method. So this is when you interlock your hair from the roots to the tips. But on the other hand, Microlocs, they can be installed with the interlocking method. You can start with 2-strand twist, or you can start with braids. I don't think it is recommended to start Microlocs with coils. Specifically, it's braids, twists, or interlocking. Sisterlocks only are installed with interlocking, and Sisterlocks have a very specific grid pattern. So when you are installing Sisterlocks, a consultant is installing Sisterlocks, they are following a very specific trademarked grid pattern that was founded by Dr. Joanne Cornwell in 1993. So all Sisterlocks have the same specific grid, and Sisterlocks have a size variation. I think there is also something now that is called Sisterlocks extra large. And on Microlocs, on the other hand, you don't have to use a very specific grid pattern when you are installing Microlocs. You can pick whatever type of grid you want, or you even have the option of not even getting a grid at all. You have to get the specific grid with Sisterlocks, but Microlocs are a little more flexible when it comes to the grid. You can part it how you want it. You can choose to do free parting. You can do triangle parts or whatever you want. But since Sisterlocks are trademarked, there is a very specific technique on literally from the install and how it's done. Also with Sisterlocks, there is a specific Sisterlock tool, I believe, that they use to interlock the hair. But Microlocs, on the other hand, it's very flexible. Twist, braids, interlocking, and whatever type of grid pattern that you choose to, or none at all. So me specifically, I have Microlocs. I do not have Sisterlocks. My hair was started with 2-strand twist, and you can see, let me find a good one. So all the way up until, let me feel it, right here. My hair is a year in, and all the way up until here is all of the interlocking that I have had over the year, and this is the 2-strand twist that is left. So as you can see, my hair was very short when I first started off. I remember that they were up by my ears like this, but this is all interlocking. I get my hair interlocked every 5 weeks. Sisterlocks are typically smaller than Microlocs, but Microlocs can be just as small as Sisterlocks. So me, I have over 500 locks. I have 560 locks to be exact. So my locks are very tiny. A lot of people out in public, they mistake them for Sisterlocks just because Sisterlocks is kind of more popular as far as like the term, but Sisterlocks are a type of Microlocs. So the term Microlocs means micro-sized locks. So both Sisterlocks and Microlocs fall under the Microloc category, but not all Microlocs are Sisterlocks. So yes, Sisterlocks are a type of Microlocs. And as far as like the size ranges, like I mentioned earlier, there is a size variation for Sisterlocks, even the Sisterlocks extra large, and Microlocs. They are typically bigger than Sisterlocks, but you can get Microlocs just as small as Sisterlocks, and I chose to get like really small Microlocs. And there's also like size ranges as well for Microlocs. Speaking of, I have this Microloc sizing tool right here. So this is different sizes that you can choose for your Microlocs, and it's best to choose the Microloc size based off of you and your lifestyle, your hair density, whether your hair is thick or thin. It's best to go to a professional to get like the sizing, but of course there are a lot of people who do DIY their locks, and you know your hair best. So if you do decide to install your Microlocs, you cannot install Sisterlocks on yourself, but you can install your own Microlocs. And this tool right here, I got it off of Amazon if you are interested. And the sizes right here, I cannot read backwards. It's 1/2, 3/8, 5/16, 1/4, and 1/8. I believe that my locks, they are around the 1/8 and the 1/4 and some in between. I really don't have any that are this big anymore, probably the ones on the side, but I'm honestly not sure because I started off with 280 locks, and every lock in my head I pretty much separated it and made it into 2. So now I have 560 locks. So whatever my original grid size was, they were kind of different sizes to begin with. So all of my locks are just different sizes in my head anyway. So maybe I'll use this tool to just figure out what the exact size of my Microlocs are, even though they are going to range in sizes. Okay, so now when it comes to pricing, Sisterlocks are going to be on the pricier side because it is a trademark and you cannot do them yourself. Microlocs, on the other hand, they are going to be cheaper than Sisterlocks, but the price can vary depending on different aspects of your hair. how long it is, how thick it is, how big or small you want your locks to be, as well as for Sisterlocks. So just depending on how your consultation goes, you have to go to a Sisterlock consultant to get your consultation. So Sisterlocks are going to be pricier. Microlocs, they're going to range in prices just depending on all of the different aspects that I was just mentioning. With Microlocs, you do have the option of installing your own locks. It is going to be a challenge, but you can do it. If you want to try to challenge yourself to install your own Microlocs, it is possible. All you need to do is just follow a grid, or not a grid at all, and you just need the proper sizing technique, or you can free part if you want. You can choose to do braids or twist. But if you want someone to install them with interlocking for Microlocs, you would need to go to a loctician. And the same with Sisterlocks, you have to go to a Sisterlock consultant. And with Sisterlocks, you do not have the option of getting braids or twists, because Sisterlocks is trademarked. It's only installed with the interlocking method. So if you are trying to figure out like which method may be right for you, I know a lot of people who have shrinkage with their hair, they choose the braid route, but with braids they take a little longer to lock. I know some people, they still have their braid pattern like 3 years in, so braids are going to take the longest to lock. Twist, they can unravel if you have like a softer or looser texture. It's better for like coarser or type 4 hair, but it just depends. Like, of course, go to a loctician or a professional for that. I like the 2-strand twist method because personally I just think it's cute. I love the fluffy curly look that you have. But if you interlock from roots to tips, you can leave curly ends like I have now, but it won't be from roots to tip. So my hair is locking slowly but surely, but I love the method that I've chose. And of course, interlocking, that is going to be the most secure method of installing your locks, because it's pretty much secured from roots to tip, and you don't really have to worry too much about slippage or unraveling with the interlocking. But yes, if you want to know the huge main difference between Microlocs and Sisterlocks, it lies in one being a trademark and one not being a trademark, and basically the starting technique. One has to be installed with a consultant with a very specific grid, a specific tool, and a grid pattern, all of that. And then over here with Microlocs, it's not trademarked. You can pick whatever grid you want. Anyone can install them. You can choose whatever starting method you want. They're a little bit more, they're less expensive, but they still can be pricey just depending on different aspects. And Sisterlocks, they're going to be more on the pricier side, but at the end of the day, Microlocs and Sisterlocks are maintained with interlocking. So just figure out how many locks you want, or just figure out like a size range of locks that you want. Like pick your lock size, because at the end of the day, depending on how small or big your locks are, it is going to contribute to how long your reties take. So with that being said, just make sure that you are doing some research. If you want to do your own self reties, that is great. If you are looking to start locks and you need to find a loctician, I suggest that you go get a consultation, figure out what their prices is going to be to get them installed, and figure out what their retie prices are going to be, because you have to get Microlocs and Sisterlocks maintained every 4 to 6 weeks, just depending on how big or small they are, how fast your hair grows, and like different stuff like that. So that is pretty much it. I hope this helped, because there are a lot of confusion between Microlocs and Sisterlocks. But yes, just one more run around. Sisterlocks, trademarked, installed by a Sisterlock consultant. only can be installed with interlocking, installed with a interlocking tool, and they use a very specific grid. Microlocs is not trademarked. Microlocs can be installed by anyone. Microlocs can be installed with interlocking braids or twists. Microlocs can use any specific grid pattern, and you don't really need a tool to install microlocs. But yes, that is pretty much the big difference. Just know that if you installed your locks yourself, they are not Sisterlocks. You actually have Microlocs. Sisterlocks is trademarked and it has their brand standards, and if you don't have the proper technique or went to a Sisterlock consultant and have the grid and everything, it is not technically Sisterlocks, and you have Microlocs. So I just pretty much like to say that Sisterlocks and Microlocs are Sisterlocks. But yes, that is pretty much it. I hope that helps. Make sure you do some research. And yes, I chose Microlocs and I love mine so much. This is not a good hairstyle because my hair is up. You can't really see my locks right now, but I have some down in the back here. But all right, I hope that helps, and bye.